If you've received a notice to appear in removal proceedings, you need to call an attorney immediately. What this means is that the U.S. government has placed you in a process meant to deport you, more or less, for either overstaying your visa or committing some type of misrepresentation during the course of your immigrant process. Now, an attorney will look at the notice to appear and determine, does it really seem like my client is removable as charged? And if so, what options exist in order to keep my client here? It may be that even though you've been in the U.S. for over a year and you haven't filed for asylum, if there is a legitimate claim of fear to return to your home country, that may be the time to file it before an immigration judge. Or you've been in a committed relationship for some time, but you've decided it's still not time to get married. At that point, if you know that you're probably going to get removed from the U.S. unless you really commit to this marriage, it may be that that's the time period that you decide with your spouse that, you want to stay together because you're worried about your spouse not being with you. And, you're not getting married for the purpose of remaining in the U.S., but you happen to get married during that time period. And an attorney can present USCIS with a fraud exemption request, because when you get married during proceedings, there's a presumption of fraud. So there's a lot of different things that the attorney will need to look at to determine what makes sense. What's the best course of action for you to avoid removability? There's going to be a course of different hearings as part of removal proceedings. And it is a wise decision to have an attorney at your first hearing, your master calendar hearing, because there will be pleadings entered into the record. And those pleadings tell the government, what do you feel you're entitled to as a form of relief? And do you believe that DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, can meet their burden to determine that you are removable as charged? And then after the master calendar hearing, you'll have an individual hearing scheduled based on the type of relief that you filed. So it is imperative that you have counsel from the outset when you're giving a notice to appear.